being here. And Drew, I want to start with you because when I was doing my research, when it said that you were in your 17th year hosting The Price is Right, it made I gasped. I could not believe it.
Me too.
And then I kept reading and realizing that after you hosted more than 200 episodes of Whose Line, you didn't take a break between diving into Price is Right.
I took a little bit of a break, yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I was like semi-retired and I only did things that I thought were fun, and I took up photography and shot the World Cup in Germany. And
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did, like as a professional. I wasn't like a Getty level. They didn't give me a camera, but I was shooting professional level for a photo agency.
Okay, I guess it was your last episode and your first episode of Price is Right aired around the same time.
Yeah,
so I guess
probably.
The filming, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna just ask you what I guess is it about hosting that makes you want to keep doing it for all of these years, and how much you like it?
I hosted Price is Right because I wasn't funny enough, or I hosted Whose Line because I wasn't funny enough to be on Whose Line. And when I was talking to Ryan about it, I was like, you know, we could do this show in the summer for ABC, because I just read an article in the LA Times that, you know, about their summer scheduling and how that should go away because shows were coming out on cable and, you know, showed at different times, and why don't the networks adjust instead of having this fall schedule. And I thought, oh, Whose Line would be a great summer show for ABC. And that's how I pitched it. And we get Ryan and all the guys together, and I go, and I can host. That way I can be on the show. So that's how that happened. And then my friend Sam Simon, who created one of the creators of The Simpsons, and he came over to me during one of the early Whose Line tapings and came to my desk and he goes, "This is part show and part scam." Because he saw that I was just reading a card and laughing my head off, and that was my job. Yeah, it was pretty good.
It's a pretty great job.
And then Whose Line, Price is Right, at first I turned him down with a expletive, like, heck no, fudge no, I'm not gonna do this show, and just like dismissed it. And then I was doing another TV, I just did a pilot for another game show, and when it got picked up, I was like, oh, they called me back and they wanted to have another meeting with me, and now I felt like I owed them a meeting. So I went there and I wanted to invest in a soccer team up in Seattle. And after the meeting, I thought, oh, this is a really good fit for me. And I told my agent, I went to dinner and told my agent, and he shook my hand. The first thing he said was, well, there's your soccer money. So I was like, yeah, it was just like, and then I just loved it. It's such a perfect fit. Like, it seems like everything in my life prepared me for being the host of The Price is Right. And for context, LeBron James has been in the NBA for 20 years.
Yes.
And in the NBA, I've gotten fat, skinny. You know.
We all have. That's how life is. We all go up and down.
Yeah.
Nicole, when we talk about busy people, I mean, you're hosting 2 shows.
Yes, I don't turn things down. I don't have soccer money. So I say, yes, please.
Well, I'm curious for you because obviously you do Nailed It solo, but you are co-host on Wipeout. So do you prefer one or the other?
I don't really prefer one or the other. Jacques is kind of like my co-host on Nailed It. He's the head judge, and he's just so delightful. I'm really lucky I get to work with these nice men, these nice whites, who are like just down to clown, and they find me funny, I find them funny, and we just find these really fun moments. So yeah, I don't really have a preference. I like collaboration and working. Like work. I love cashing a paycheck. It's so nice.
Who doesn't? I love that so much. And then Jane, for you, Weakest Link, but you were doing so many other things and acting at the same time as hosting. And I'm curious if you feel like hosting makes you a better actor or contributes to that.
Well, I would say that, you know, I'm kind of playing a character. I think we all are when we're hosting. And I regret not wearing a soft pastel outfit. So I do feel like I play. Does it make me a better actor? I'll tell you what made me a better actor. When I hosted Home Shopping in 1987 in Glencoe, Illinois, from the 11 p.m. till 4 a.m. shift where we took live phone calls. That made me a good actor.
Is that on YouTube or anything?
I can't find it. No. But it was called America's Shopping Place, and it was the first online or home shopping show. It was crazy times, working on your feet with no script, and I made me a great improviser. I don't know that I'm a great improviser, but it made me better than I would have been.
That's all I want to talk about now.
I'm so gosh, I had to go on about cubic zirconia tennis bracelets for like 20 minutes. And they kept trying to replace me the whole time because they would audition my replacements on the air. Because I didn't kind of fit in with the, hi, I'm a home shopping person. I was kind of, it wasn't, the cute kind of Carol Merrill girl. But I was good on my feet, so they stopped trying to fire me.
Did you cry and show them your rent bill?
Yeah. Believe me, I wasn't making a lot of money. I remember I rented a company called Rent-A-Wreck. And I would rent a wreck, which was like what are those, God, the Pace, remember Pacers? Would rent a Pacer that I hoped would get me to Glencoe, Illinois, and back to my apartment in Chicago. And it's so, in the middle of the night.
Wow.
Because it was the 4 a.m. Shift. And live phone calls too. So who's calling in a home shopping show at 4 a.m.?
A very stable woman.
Right, exactly. Stable people. Yes.
Hey now, some of us shop that late. Go easy on us.
I could completely go in a different direction than any of the questions I have planned just because of that. But I will try to keep it on pace here. Carrie Ann,
What am I doing on this panel? I'm just kidding. I just have to say what everybody's talking about. What?
No, I think it's so interesting because you obviously you're not the host, you're the judge, but you are one of two people who have been on Dancing with the Stars from the very beginning. So you are at the heart of the show. So what is that like for you, and what is the biggest difference? You don't have a prompter, you don't have a mic in your ear.
Oh my God, yes. So I've done both roles. I've been a host, and I've been now a judge on the show for 32 seasons. My gosh, and I'm very grateful. I mean, dancers, we wish for this kind of job, right? I just didn't expect me to be speaking, but I speak now for a living. And I will say the difference between the two is, well, there's a lot of similarities. I think it's about like connecting with the audience and trying to create something that the audience can connect to with the celebrities. And I think what's great about our show is it's humanizing celebrities, right? It's making them feel like all of us. And I think that that's what's so important, and then also so inspirational. So as a judge, my job is just to kind of push them forward, but also it's to help the storyline. Because just like any other television show, there has to be a storyline. Sometimes I have to be a little tougher on people because they need to be called out. And like, I always want people on the show, Drew, you were on the show. It's like, it's a huge risk, and it's a much bigger journey than I think people know when they come on. And so I want to tell them the truth so that people aren't whispering it behind their back, so that they have the opportunity to grow. Because if you're going to be on our show, you're taking a huge risk, but it's a huge payoff because you show everybody how courageous you are. And bravo to you for being on our show, and thank you.
I'm sorry I danced with my mouth up in that hole.
I know. You remember the comments? Oh my gosh. I hope I know. Do our comments haunt you ever?
No.
Okay, thank God.
I'm great at criticism. But I have to tell you, I was doing Price is Right, stand up on the weekends, and Dancing with the Stars all at the same time. And I couldn't wait to get kicked off that show. It was the four of us. I was like, anybody else? Can we get out? I was exhausted.
It does happen, huh?
You really wanted that soccer money, huh? You were 3 jobs at once.
Yeah. Well, I always wanted to be on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
Since it came out, so I was like, please get me on Dancing with the Stars. And I was also trying to get on Naked and Afraid.
Let's do it.
I would play Afraid.
Jane, I wanted to go back to something that you had said, and I think you can all probably speak to this, is when you're hosting, if you are playing a character, where is the line between you and you as a host, especially with weekends?
Oh gosh, I don't know that I can articulate that. It's it's just approach, I guess, and its point of view. And I'm a smart ass, and I think that the contestants know that I'm you know, it's they know the drill. I don't really hate them. Unlike the original Ann Robinson, those were hard shoes to fill. She was the original host of The Weakest Link. She was like a stern British schoolmarm. She didn't let anybody get away with anything. So I do my own version of that. But yeah, it's a little bit of a character, and you know, I guess it's an approach. I don't know that I could actually left brain explain it.
Mm-hmm.
Can I check?
Yeah, please.
I don't feel like I'm playing a character on The Price is Right, like at all.
Well, that's
I
just
feel like
psychotic, Drew.
It's I'm like the happiest, no matter, man, I've been through some rough moments like these last few years with a lot of personal bad things that have happened, and you know, as soon as the door opens, I'm in my happy place. I can be myself. It's all people being genuine and loving, and it's Freudenfreud, which is the opposite of Schadenfreude. It's when you're feeling happy about another person's happiness. And it's one of the few places where you'll see like strangers rooting for another stranger to do well. And I'm just in this positive vibe soup all day, and I just was like, I can just relax and be me. And I even tell like dirty jokes during the breaks. Not that dirty, but you know, it's Price is Right. But you know, I let loose and just, yeah, it feels so free. It's the greatest thing.
I mean, what a great thing for that to be your place of work, to walk in and feel that at work. I mean, that's such a great thing to be able. It's such an honor. Nicole, what about you? Are you fully you, or do you think there's a host Nicole?
Well, I'm like a wackadoo, so I bring that with me when I'm hosting, and I like read the prompter, but also, if I don't like what I see, I'm not gonna say it. And you can ask me to say it, but you're not gonna take that take. You're gonna take what I did because I made it funny. So I think it's just like a heightened version of myself. Like I nailed it. I'm not gonna be like, oh, that looks like shit, go home. You know, you're gonna find a way to be like, hey, you did something nice, but do you wanna talk about why that looks like that? And then on Wipeout, yeah, that's mostly me. John Cena's, he's just so nice and he smells really good. So like, he like mixes and matches colognes, it's wild. So that puts me in a good mood, and he's just like really nice. So yeah, it's just like a heightened version of myself.
Do you worry about people on Wipeout? Do you worry about people on Wipeout? Because I do.
Oh, you know,
like when they wipe
sometimes.
out, I'm like, oh my god.
Well, sometimes I worry because we shoot really late, and I'm like, we gotta go home. We're gonna let them do it again. Get out of here. I'm more worried about myself.
The honesty. This is why you have two hosting jobs. That is exactly why. Well, Carrie, I mean, I think you, as a judge, are able to be completely honest for the most part. But do you always just kind of say what's on your mind, or do you feel like you also are putting on a little bit of a different hat when you're?
Definitely putting on a hat.
Okay.
For Dancing with the Stars, because I'm way more like Wackadoo. That is my nickname too. Wackadoodle do over here. And I'm really like lighthearted and fun, but I do like to think deeply. So I guess I just channel that part of me, and I try to figure out how strategically I can help that person attain the goal that they want. So they want to win, right? So sometimes I realize somebody might need a little bit more of a challenge, because everything that you see on the dance floor is subjective. Right? We can call it great, we can call it horrible, it's what you want it to be, right? So there's a lot of room for error, for space, because I'm not looking for the technique, right? I've never looked for technique. I don't like technique, actually.
Good time to find that out.
This is not I don't really, no, I've never really been a fan of technique. I want the performance, because I think that's what helps people in the long run, right? If they come out there and they show who they are, that gets them the next gig. Right? So for me, I'm always trying to strategically help everybody who's out there, challenge them so that America can see that they rise to a challenge, make them open up their hearts so that we can see, oh, there's more to this person. That's what I'm always trying to do. So it's not all of me. If it was all of me, I'd be dancing more and like goofing off like that. So I try to be serious.
They put me on a show, Dancing with the Stars, with 2 Olympic ice dancers.
Are you complaining about the casting?
No, from the first day, I knew I was going to lose. So I wasn't in it to win. I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to have a good time.
No, that's not true. Did you really think that?
When I
Sorry,
saw
I'm so
when I
curious.
met the 2 Olympic ice dancers.
Was it Meryl and Carrie?
Yes.
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah, and Meryl like forgot something in the rehearsal room and had to come back and get it. It was like watching a transformer like roboted out, and I was like, wow, that's a person. And Charlie too. I was like, these are people that exist that can do moves like that. And I knew I was going to win nothing. And Cheryl and I were just like,
Great.
let's see what we can do.
Yeah, great.
I wanted to have fun and do well, but me and Cheryl were like, yeah, let's just have fun and do what we can.
The best part is when you make people smile. That's what's the best.
Yeah.
You're right. When people get out there, they do comment, they touch your heart. That's what it's all
I
about.
just wanted to have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's part of, and that kind of leads to my next question. I think in the world we live in, I would say that's in any world, but really in the world we live in, game shows, making people smile, making people laugh is the whole point of turning on the TV. So do you guys think about that? I mean, think about how this impact is. I mean, for me, it used to be when I was a kid watching Game Show Network in bed and watching these old reruns to be like, oh, this is uplifting. So is that something you guys think about, that you're trying
Yes.
to?
Yeah.
You know, I used to watch Match Game and Password. That's how old I am. It's black and white when I watched it with Alan Lund. And those shows had celebrities on them, which our show doesn't. But I think what I love about like The Weakest Link, it's really a simple show except for the banking. I still don't understand. But I act like I do. But it's a trivia show. And we're not reinventing the wheel every week. It's a kind of like a comfort food. It's like television comfort food. You know the game, you know the drill, but every episode is different because the people are different and the questions are different. And I love game shows where you can participate at home. Like, are these, like, sometimes I look at those questions and go, I don't know how anybody can win a penny on this show because I don't know any of the answers. And then some shows I'm like, I could have killed this one. Yeah, but I think it's like comfort food. And you show up because you know a certain thing's gonna happen, and it's kind of like the familiarity of it is just so, I think, wonderful.
There's a thing in stand-up comedy and improv. It's called the spirit of play. Freud wrote a book about it, that you have to have a spirit of play present, and if there's a spirit of play, you can joke about anything because it's playful, and nobody's getting hurt. And Price is Right has a huge spirit of play, and my favorite parts are when like a $20,000-$30,000 car comes down to somebody knowing the price of a jar of mayonnaise. I just giggle to myself, and I'm like, oh my God, what kind of living am I making?
But again, that's people at home are smiling at that. That's something that makes people happy. Nicole, do you prefer hosting over acting?
Ooh. No, but yes, but no. That's like, it's a hard question to answer because I like acting because I get to make someone else's storylines that I didn't think of and their words make sense and resonate with me. But also it's kind of the same with copy. When it's like hosting copy, how do I make this natural? How do I make this sound like it's coming from me, Nicole? Again, I don't turn down work. I love everything equal. Hire me if there's people here who can. No, but I like working, and I do love hosting. It really is fun. You get glammed up and you get to have fun with the people. Like, I also tell nasty little jokes on Nailed It, but people know it's a family show, so I always check in to be like, hey, is that okay that I just said a dick joke? And, a nice grandma will go, I liked it. And, I try to make sure that they have, a great time, because it's going to get cut down to a fun time, and that joke is never going to get heard. But yeah, I love hosting.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question real quick? Okay, so
Please.
this is a weird thing, but I hosted a game show called 1 vs. 100 a long time ago. I failed miserably. I was horrible at it. I didn't understand what game show hosting was. I thought someone was going to teach me how to do it before I went up there. Yeah, nobody does, right?
Nobody does.
So
It
that's
was
what
really
happened. Okay,
wild.
so what happened? Did you guys do you warm up your own audience?
No.
Okay, so somebody else warms up the audience. Nobody warms up the audience. So,
I don't have an
how
audience.
do you do that? How do you get that audience? Because I would walk out feeling so intimidated by them.
I don't have an audience.
True,
Oh,
yeah.
The Price is Right audience comes in psychotic. They're like dancing and clapping and wooing from the minute they're like, oh my God, I'm here. They're pre-warmed up. So, and then I have 3 cards in my dressing room on the wall by the door. One says, "You are a carnival barker." Because that's why I was like, step right up, win a prize. That's how I picture myself. And then the second one is surf the contestants' wave. So I have to you have to zone into their energy right away.
Yeah.
And so you have to have an empathy level that's really off the charts. So you can just immediately connect with them. And then the third one is find a way to get to the audience to come back. And I did that because I was always going, "We'll be right back." I thought that's pretty lazy. I just find new ways to tell them to come back. You know, those are my three mantra things that I go on stage with.
They're good ones.
When I hosted Kimmel, they do have a warm-up comic, but in between the segments, I would talk to the audience, and that kind of gets them happier to be there. They're like, "Oh, she cares." And I do, so that's so flimsy. No, but it is nice to get to know your audience. I think that helps when you host with an audience.
Yeah, my favorite part is talking to the crowd.
Yeah.
So George Gray, the announcer, talks to the crowd at the beginning and says, take your number off, and stay with Drew if you win or lose, and tells them little things like that. And then they introduce me, and then we play a couple games, and I talk to the audience all through the show. And that's that's my favorite part, because I get to talk. I just take questions sometimes and anything they want to know. It's really fun because it's all regular people. There's no CEOs, there's no upper management. It's all just normal tradesmen, nurses, cross section of society. And honestly, if there should be a show, if I was doing I would not. If I was running People magazine or something, I wouldn't have one celebrity in it. Because everybody else's stories of the person are so much more interesting to me. How did you get married for 47 years? And how are you, how did you sort of do this? It's really amazing. Yeah.
Definitely. Carrie Ann, there is an audience at Dancing with the Stars. I'm curious, do you interact at all with them in between?
Actually, no.
No.
So on Dancing with the Stars, they're kind of strict with us. We're not allowed to interact with the contestants at all. We're kept in a different judging area, and our trailers are far away. And I really feel dissociated actually from the audience for the most part. They started introducing us to the audience, so that felt better. And it was actually a very weird transition, because as a dancer and as a performer, I'm used to going out there feeling this and having this interaction. But then as a judge, our role is really secondary to support the performers. At least that's the way I've always interpreted it for myself. So I don't really connect with the in-house audience, except for when they boo, which I love now. Yes, because I think it's part of what I do like about that is it shows that they're engaged. If they're gonna boo me, I'm like, yeah, come on, boo me. You better vote. You know what I mean? Argue with me, because that means you like what's happening. It doesn't matter whether you like me or not on Dancing with the Stars. It matters that you like what's happening on the floor, and I think that's important, and that's the difference. And but that's why I miss it, because I feel so far away from the people. But you're right, you should just get to know the people. I'm like, oh, I gotta judge. They're gonna hate me. You know what I mean? It's an odd role to play.
Jane, you've done shows before with an audience. Do you miss having the live audience there?
No, I really like just paying attention to the 8 contestants. And our show, too, is kind of dramatic. We have da-da, the music, and the light cues, and then, so it's about them. It's about the 8 contestants, and I like just having that. It's kind of, we're in our own little world there.
Yeah, definitely. Something you touched on earlier was, obviously there was a very famous Weakest Link host beforehand. Yeah. There was a very famous Price is Right host beforehand. Was there pressure to kind of be that, and while bringing your own spin to it?
I didn't feel that, except respect for what she had done.
Mm-hmm.
People always ask me, what was it like filling in Bob Barker's shoes?
Yeah.
What a big thing. And then I realized later on from doing stand-up that, when you're at the improv and everybody's doing a set, somebody could be really funny all in different sets, but when you get up on stage, you gotta be funny. And I don't ever go on stage at the comedy club, worried about filling somebody else's shoes. This is my stage now, and I'm going to do my thing. And Bob Barker gave me the best advice. He said, we went out to lunch at Musso and Frank's. Can you imagine? It was so great. Bob Barker at Musso and Frank's. And then he says to me, don't try to copy me. Just make the show your own. And I don't know if that was a threat or... But yeah, that was the best advice. And I was like, okay, I will. And that's how I approached it. So from the beginning, I was at the very beginning. I'm like, don't screw this up. That was my attitude. Like, please don't screw up the show. And then now I'm like, please renew my contract. I'm with you. I just want to keep working.
Keep working. Carrie, is it gotten easier for you to do live shows, or is the live element still difficult because you do have to? I mean, I feel like the judges are always being told like, no, you have to hurry up, and you guys are rushing through your.
Yeah, we get 20 seconds to speak, right, and to explain it and to keep the journey going. But I've only done live television, like basically my whole career. Yeah, so I think because I have major ADHD, I need the element of live TV. I need that intense pressure. It feels very comfortable for me. Yeah. I like that there's a deadline. I like when there's like a boxed in feeling. I think it makes it more exciting for me. And then I don't know, it's like I hone in more. And I don't know, I love that part about it.
Do you really have ADHD?
Oh yeah, I have ADHD and maybe spectrum a little bit.
Sorry,
I've been seeing my therapist. Learning a lot lately, yes.
How many kids with ADHD does it take to change a light bulb?
Am I gonna be offended? What? It's so true. I do though, I have ADHD.
I missed the punchline. I also have ADHD.
Thank you. She's finding her way. She's like,
three, maybe 8 of them? I don't know.
The punchline is, hey, you want to ride bikes?
Oh, okay.
yeah. We're no longer talking about it.
I
You
get
do
it.
too? I love
And
it.
that's the best joke when you have to explain. Oh boy.
I want to ask
Sorry,
each
we've
of
all-
you.
I don't have
Really?
ADHD.
I want to ask each of you which game shows you watch, if you do watch any others that aren't your own, and if you had to be on one, what you think you'd actually be good at.
I'd murder on Price is Right now.
That's not fair. I feel like you'd have a little bit of an advantage.
I do.
A little bit.
Nobody on the stage knows the prices, except for the one guy, the game producer, and then the producers who are not even in the room. So we all, the cameramen, the backstage crew, we all play along. And they're watching monitors backstage, and after this thing, we break it down like we were watching ESPN or something. And we talk to the audience like, why did they pick that number? And I would have picked the 0, and this, all the strategies, and yeah, because some people
So
don't
you'd
make
be really great now.
good decisions, but it's really like we play along where and I can't go like, are you sure you wanna? So I have to keep a straight face, but yeah, we play along, and I hate watching myself on TV for obvious reasons.
Wait, what? You're a beautiful diva.
I know,
Don't do
I
that.
hate watching myself on TV. I always have. Even when I was a kid and my mom would show like home movies of me, I was like, oh, just get rid of it. But I love I love dissecting it while I'm going along.
Okay.
Figuring out why they do the things they do.
Some
Breaking it
people
down.
don't make some smart choices.
We had a TV show we had a Price is Right show with all geniuses, stunt show. And there was a 13-year-old girl that just got accepted to medical school. 2 19-year-old international chess grandmasters, the guy with the highest IQ in Mensa. It was like that kind of a neurosurgeon who did a thing that couldn't even, he explained it to me and it went like, yeah, I was riding a bike. And they made all the same stupid mistakes. Can I say quick, I'm trying, but there was a game we have called Pay the Rent. And you chance to win $100,000, and you win up 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 100,000. And you have to put grocery items in a certain order. And this guy had a PhD in maths, taught at USC, I think, and won like a national math contest. And he went for the $100,000, where the one item has to be more expensive than the 2 below it. And there was no way he was going to win. No way. And he could have just kept the 10,000 and walked away. And when he did it, I was looking at George Gray, and we were like, what was this guy thinking? Like, honestly, we were shocked. And I walked up to him, he was walking away, I was like, why did you do that? And he goes, well, I have a lot of ways to make $10,000, but I don't have any other way to make $100,000 that quick. That was his logic. But I wanted to tell him, dude, you had no way of making $100,000. Like, what were you thinking? So that's the kind of, it's almost like, why didn't you hand it off to, this running back, with the Super Bowl on the line? Like, I'm like those guys. Like, what was the coach thinking? That's what I do.
Sure. For sure. All right, I know we're almost out of time, but I do want to give you guys a chance to answer what shows you think you'd be best at.
Okay, I think I would be good at The Weakest Link. I watch it with like my best friend John, and I think I do good, but like I don't. But like I'm confident. But I also think I do really good at Survivor, even though I'm not good at physical challenges. But I'm a good time and a good hang.
It goes a long way on Survivor.
Good TV.
Yeah. Jane, what about you?
25 words or less, which I've done about 30 episodes of it. I kill on that show! Oh! And it's 25 words or fewer, but I'm not going to pick this.
Carrie.
I like to do Wipeout. Yeah, like
Oh,
that
it's
show.
harder
Every
than
time
you
I watch
think.
it, I know it looks horrible. I will never do it, but I would like to do it because it looks so much fun. Like I want to slip on those things. I might jump and see if I can get it and try to hold on. It just looks fun. But yeah, I would never do Dancing with the Stars, by the way.
I was
Never.
I thought I would do great on Celebrity Family Feud, and I've been on it 3 times, and I've lost all 3 times.
Well, thank you guys all so much for being here. Thank you all for having us.